brace yourselves, because this story takes a dark, unexpected turn. The world was shaken when a prison surveillance video slipped out, shaky and grainy yet horrifyingly vivid. The footage shows Blueface collapsing on the floor of his cell, a needle ominously close to his mattress, his body convulsing, froth forming at his lips, and a co-inmate screaming, "Somebody get help." But the terror does not stop there. Just before the screen goes black, a heavily tattooed hand emerges from the shadows, dragging Blueface's limp body further into the darkness of the cell. Whispers among prison staff suggest a chilling motive, a gang initiation gone wrong, pressuring him to inject steroids as a twisted test of loyalty. Now, a shadowy effort to erase the incident has surfaced, yet the leak refuses to be contained. Suddenly, this scandal transcends mere drug abuse. It is a window into coercion, danger, and the hidden codes of prison life. This story is raw, tense, and layered with danger, betrayal, and the unspoken rules of survival behind prison walls. Fans are panicking, bloggers are spiraling, and celebrities are frozen in disbelief. What should have been a low-profile incarceration has erupted into a full-blown media frenzy, where false friends, hidden enemies, and life-or-death stakes linger in every shadow. So, what truly unfolded that night for Blueface? Was it a simple overdose, a calculated setup, or did he willingly step into the very gang that now claims him inside? The details that are about to emerge will shock you, and by the end, you will worry for his life. Let us trace the story back, before the sirens blared, before the footage leaked, and before the murmurs of gang ties began circulating in the prison corridors. Here was Blueface, the bold, chaotic, controversy-drenched rapper who built his brand on turbulence and unpredictability. But this situation was on an entirely different plane. This was not social media drama, not a staged music video stunt. This was tangible, frightening reality. To understand it fully, we need to revisit why he ended up behind bars in the first place. The headlines had been relentless. Blueface arrested again, assault charges pending, probation violation could mean years. This was his third strike, and the judge was merciless. Court documents and insider whispers paint a damning picture. His arrest stemmed from a series of escalating street fights, compounded by a previously sealed gun case that reopened due to fresh testimony from someone once close to him. A former ally had turned into a Fed, handing authorities the leverage to bring charges forward. The moment Blueface entered the county holding cell, all eyes were on him, not just fellow inmates, but correctional officers, snitches, and gangs eager to exploit his vulnerability. Safety was an illusion. An anonymous prison nurse reportedly confided to a blogger, "He walked in thinking he was untouchable, like his Instagram army would protect him." In here, none of that matters. Inside these walls, influence and fame dissolve, replaced by unspoken codes and brutal hierarchies. Blueface had entered a world where every glance, every movement carried weight, and where survival was anything but guaranteed. The tension inside the prison walls escalated almost instantly. Rumors began circulating that Blueface had refused the standard protective custody, rejecting isolation in favor of proving himself. That single decision would change everything. Instead of a segregated, safer environment, he was thrown into the general population, straight into the lion's den, surrounded by inmates eager to assert dominance and gangs with hidden agendas. From that moment, the descent into chaos began. According to sources, Blueface was involved in 3 fights during his first week. One of these confrontations erupted when an inmate allegedly called him soft for rapping about violence, but failing to withstand real-life challenges. That inmate reportedly suffered facial injuries in what insiders described as a brutal bathroom retaliation and was subsequently transferred. But the danger went beyond physical fights. Survival in that environment hinged on favors, influence, and owed debts. One former gang member, speaking anonymously on a podcast, explained, "When you step into our yard, you pay rent." Blueface was not paying, and the price came in other, more sinister forms. This is where the steroid allegations entered the narrative. Known for his lean frame, Blueface had begun showing noticeable muscle gains over the past year. Jailhouse whispers suggested that a high-ranking inmate offered him protection and alliance, with loyalty demanded in return. One test of allegiance reportedly involved forced injections of underground steroids smuggled in by corrupt staff. This was not about protein shakes or fitness routines. These were black-market steroid kits hidden inside soap bars and administered secretly in laundry rooms while guards turned a blind eye. The purpose was control, to make him stronger, more aggressive, and easier to manipulate, according to an anonymous former prison nurse. The story took an even darker turn when video footage leaked. Initially posted on a private Telegram channel by a whistleblowing guard, the clip quickly spread to X, TikTok, and YouTube. In the grainy footage, Blueface is seen lying motionless, his chest convulsing violently, while a voice in the background shouts, "He took too much. Why y'all give him that much?" Then, a second figure, face unseen, drags him by the foot toward the toilet, murmuring something chilling, a warning that if Blueface spoke, everyone would pay. The clip ends with a loud bang as the door slams shut. No official statements came from the prison. Blueface's legal team remained silent, and his Instagram was wiped clean. Fans, however, went into full investigative mode, digging through deleted posts, archived tweets, and old footage. Some documented the dramatic physical changes, attributing them to the alleged steroid use. Others pointed to a cryptic Instagram story Blueface posted 2 weeks before his arrest. "They gon' try to break me, but I'm already cracked." Was it a warning, a cry for help, or an intentional signal? Many believe Blueface walked into this storm fully aware, choosing the dangerous path deliberately. The story takes an even darker, more personal turn. Some insiders claim Blueface did not just seek protection for himself. He needed it for something far more significant: his child. Beneath the steroid scandal lies a family drama that could upend everything we think we know about this episode. But before we get to that, we must revisit the night that nearly cost Blueface's life and the twisted initiation that pushed him to the edge. That night spiraled out of control in mere minutes. Leaked audio obtained by a prison janitor who claimed he was sweeping the second tier captured the tension escalating to fatal levels. Blueface had been on edge all day. Guards reported he barely touched his dinner, and fellow inmates noticed his usual humor was gone. Nobody expected what unfolded once the cells locked down. At exactly 11:07 p.m., a rapid knocking pattern echoed through the walls, a known signal for gang-affiliated units to mobilize. Seconds later, cameras on cell block B went dark, leaving only an infrared microphone to record the chaos. What it captured was chilling. Voices warned, "Yo, he ain't ready. Give it to him. Now or never. Too late." Inhale, a scream, then silence. What happened inside cell 203 was not merely an overdose, it was a brutal forced steroid injection, part of what insiders claim was Blueface's final test for gang initiation. Sources from the California Department of Corrections identified the group as 5K, a violent underground faction with connections to outside criminal networks and music distribution rings. Rumors suggest they offer protection to high-profile inmates in exchange for loyalty, silence, and drugs. Blueface became entangled in all three. His connection to gang culture was not new. For years, he had hinted at affiliations in his music, occasionally flashed red, and reportedly contributed to community groups linked to the same networks. But in prison, pretenses mean nothing. You either prove yourself or become an example. And Blueface's stakes were high. His ex, Christian, had filed for full custody of their child, his record label had frozen royalties, and his legal team reportedly warned, "You will not survive a month unless you play ball." Desperate, insiders now believe Blueface voluntarily agreed to the initiation. The ritual, however, backfired. The steroid dose, smuggled inside a deodorant stick, was far beyond what his body could handle. His heart raced, his lungs constricted, and his lips turned blue. While his cellmate screamed for help, the others watched coldly, a silent code dictating that survival was the test. Live, and you were in. Die, and you were deemed unfit. Yet perhaps most disturbing was what happened outside the cell. 2 guards stationed nearby reportedly did nothing. One even looked directly into the camera and adjusted it away from the cell. Forensic analysts reviewing the footage concluded this was no oversight, it was deliberate. Rumors swirled that the prison itself was orchestrating underground operations, leveraging high-profile inmates like Blueface for media distraction and blackmail. A former corrections officer, using the alias RJ, explained on an underground podcast, "The system wants these artists contained. Once they gain influence, they are a threat." Blueface was both a pawn and a poster boy, and they exploited him fully. Around 3:11 a.m., Blueface was found convulsing. An anonymous nurse later described extreme tachycardia, swollen veins, aggression, and temporary psychosis. He had to be restrained with 3 straps, repeatedly whispering, "They told me I had to. They told me I had to." Outside, his team remained silent. A vague PR statement read, "Blue is focused on his recovery. We ask for privacy." Fans, however, did not remain quiet. Social media exploded with theories. Old posts were analyzed, and cryptic messages were scrutinized. One viral TikTok with over 8 million views slowed down audio of Blueface saying, "When you see me disappear, just know I ain't go quietly," sparking debates over whether he had foreseen his ordeal. Christian Rock posted a now-deleted story simply stating, "Told y'all," adding fuel to the speculation. But the overdose was only the opening act. Days later, leaked prison documents revealed a shocking twist. Blueface was no longer listed as a solo inmate, hinting that the aftermath of that night, and the shadowy network behind it, was far from over. Blueface's story took another chilling turn. He had been transferred to a shared cell with a member of a high-ranking prison gang known only as Savage B. That shift meant recovery was no longer just physical, it was now under their control. Sources claim that in exchange for protection and secrecy, Blueface officially aligned with the group, agreeing to use his influence outside the walls to funnel money and favors back inside once he was released. Insiders are calling it the gang prison industry pipeline, and he is far from alone. According to the same sources, other rappers awaiting sentencing are already being targeted. Names like Wendo Rondo, Fulio, and even Young Thug have allegedly been approached with offers they cannot refuse. This extends well beyond Blueface. It is a sprawling network of control, enforced silence, and intimidation. Blueface is just the first thread unraveled in a much larger web. The fallout from the leaked overdose quickly ignited a media firestorm. Fans, bloggers, and mainstream outlets erupted, but what no one expected was the second wave of leaks, this time not just video. Confidential prison documents surfaced, memos, inmate logs, and a coded sheet titled "Cycle runs 5K allies." One chilling annotation stood out: "BJ pre-cleared family collateral confirmed." 100% submission BJ referring to Blueface Jr. The files implied that Blueface's own child had been leveraged to ensure his compliance. Suddenly, this was no longer a scandal about drugs. It was about blackmail, control, and the endangerment of family. Social media erupted. Fans tagged the FBI, civil rights lawyers, and even the NAACP. TikTok detectives flooded the platform with theories. One viral post, with over 12 million views, suggested that Blueface had received a warning during court, a subtle nod and a throat-cutting gesture, explaining why he pled guilty so quickly. Then came a mysterious X-post from an account claiming to belong to a retired LAPD officer. Blueface was recruited the second he entered jail. Same group tried to flip 03 Griot. Didn't work, but Blue, he's in deep. Now they want the music. The industry panic was immediate. Record labels began quietly distancing themselves. Spotify banners vanished. Playlist features disappeared. Atlantic Records deleted promotional posts. An anonymous music executive confirmed to a verified blog that executives feared Blueface was acting as a conduit, transmitting information from the outside world into the gang's network. If true, major industry dollars could be implicated, transforming one rapper's crisis into an industry-wide threat. The drama escalated when Cardi B tweeted, cryptically warning, "This asterisk too familiar. Keep your people safe. Some of y'all gone. Learn the hard way." Fans immediately speculated whether she was issuing a warning or protecting herself. Nicki Minaj further fanned the flames, liking a post stating, "One by one, they all fall." Hollywood's underworld showed no mercy. Then came the most personal revelation yet. A voice memo leaked from an Instagram burner account allegedly belonging to a prison infirmary worker described Blueface's near-fatal state. The voice, nervous but steady, recounted reviving him with ammonia as he convulsed and sweated through his mattress. Between seizures, he reportedly kept repeating, "Tell Rock I didn't fold. I did it for him, not her." The him was his son. Every piece of the puzzle revealed that behind the chaos, Blueface choices, and the gang's ruthless control, family was at the center of this terrifying saga. If the reports are accurate, it means Blueface knowingly accepted that dangerous injection, fully aware of the risk, to protect his child from being exploited as leverage. This is not just a story of prison loyalty, it is the story of a father making an almost suicidal sacrifice to shield his kid from the threats of ruthless gangs. The fallout was immediate and intense. Within 24 hours, #FreeBlueface was trending in the top 3 worldwide. Celebrities like Meek Mill, Wack 100, and Blueface began speaking out, calling the situation MK Ultra-level manipulation, warning that if it could happen to Blueface, it could happen to anyone. Blueface went live on Instagram, saying, "This isn't justice. This is setup. They're flipping artists like pancakes in there. We need our people home. Stay woke." Meanwhile, Christian Rock, who had been silent since her "Told Y'all" post, returned on her own live stream with tears in her eyes, revealing, "Y'all don't even know what he's been through. He isn't weak. He's a soldier. I told him not to go back. I begged him, but he said he had to protect his people. I didn't understand then, but now I do." Fans were stunned. For the first time, she admitted that Blueface returned to jail willingly, driven by something much bigger than himself. Then the chaos escalated. Amid the emotional storm, a mysterious Dropbox link appeared in the comments of a viral video. Inside the folder was a document titled 5K Music Roster - 2025 Expansion Plan, listing names that chilled the internet to its core. Within hours of the leak, fans were in a frenzy. The roster wasn't just a list, it was color-coded by status: green for already flipped, yellow for in discussion, and red for high-risk, high-value targets. Blueface appeared under green, alongside names nobody expected: Lil Sean, Famous Dex, Spawn. TikToks quickly went viral, revisiting old interviews and erratic behavior as evidence of a hidden network. Under red, the most shocking name appeared: NBA Youngboy. The revelation sparked an online civil war. Blueface fans claimed he had taken the fall to protect Youngboy, while Youngboy supporters accused him of snitching by association. Neutral fans just demanded the truth. Reddit threads exploded, reaching 20,000 comments in under 4 hours. One top-voted comment read, "If this list is real, half the rap industry is compromised, and we're just watching a war we didn't even know existed." The industry reacted with alarm. Rory from the Rory and Mal podcast went live, confirming, "I've seen lists like this before. They circulate in label meetings. They're not meant to leak. This is massive." Charlemagne the God, unusually silent on The Breakfast Club, stared into the camera and said, "There's no coincidence. Blueface ODs, then a list leaks. Nah, that's war." Academics streamed for 7 hours analyzing every name, hinting that a West Coast mogul had knowledge and played dumb. Joe Button weighed in. "This is bigger than gangs and rap beef. It's systemic. Y'all playing checkers while they're playing war." And then came confirmation that this wasn't just gossip. At 9:46 p.m., a verified documentary director tweeted, "Working with sources inside the system. #5K #face files coming fall 2025." History was being documented in real time. Blueface's mother also spoke, raw and unfiltered on Facebook Live. "They're trying to silence my son. Don't believe that OD mess. He didn't take anything." The story had escalated from viral scandal to a deeply personal, industry-shaking revelation of power, manipulation, and family at stake. Blueface's mother went off on Facebook Live, visibly shaken and furious. "They drugged him. They've been watching him. I told him not to get involved with those label people. This goes deeper than gangs. It is about money and enforced silence, she warned. Then, she revealed a document, allegedly an old email from a former Blueface manager dated 2023, cautioning her that he was getting in too deep and needed to cut ties with certain handlers. Skeptics tried to dismiss her claims, but fans froze and enhanced the screenshot, discovering the sender was tied to a well-known entertainment PR crisis firm. The caption read chillingly, "If he doesn't stop, they'll turn him into a message." The ramifications spread fast. Rappers and industry insiders began feeling the pressure. Questions circulated. Are you affiliated with the 5K Circle? Did you know Blueface was being used? Some spoke out. G Herbo tweeted, "I'm independent. I don't mess with industry games." DDG wrote, "I'm out the loop, but y'all better watch all homies." YK Osiris, visibly emotional on live, admitted, "I tried to warn him. Man, they flipped him." Meanwhile, fans continued digging, uncovering even more disturbing connections. One anonymous blog reported that a sealed court document contained a surveillance photo of a studio meeting between Blueface and an active gang shot caller posing as an A&R representative, proof that the setup began before his incarceration. The realization hit hard. This was not random. It was a slow, strategic plan designed to paint Blueface as the villain, when in reality he was a pawn. The industry scrambled. Shows were canceled for artists under investigation. Streaming platforms reviewed music linked to the alleged 5K label circuit. A major label rumored to be Rock Nation reportedly convened an emergency board meeting to distance itself from compromised partnerships. But the internet already knew. Blueface might be locked up, but his story had broken wide open, exposing the industry's darkest secrets. And just when fans thought the chaos had peaked, the next bombshell dropped. A local Los Angeles news outlet posted a shocking headline at 4:16 a.m. Rapper Blueface reportedly found unresponsive. Death rumors circulate after prison chaos. The story was deleted 7 minutes later, but not before thousands of fans screenshotted it and spread it across TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook. Panic erupted. Blueface is dead. They killed him in prison. This is just like Epstein. This is how they erase you. Minutes later, an anonymous Reddit user uploaded a second, previously unseen clip, grainy footage from a ceiling corner in a dim corridor. 2 guards escorted an inmate whose face was hidden by a towel, but fans were convinced it was Blueface based on his tattoos, build, and movements. The post's title terrified viewers. They're transferring him to the black box. Nobody comes back from there. Prison insiders explained that the black box is slang for a maximum security isolation unit in an undisclosed wing. No cameras, no visitors, no contact. Many believe it is where uncooperative inmates disappear. The final shock came at 5:33 a.m. when Blueface's unofficial backup Instagram account, believed to be managed by someone close to him, posted a single story. A black background with white text reading, "If you are reading this, they couldn't stop me. I knew the plan. I left the truth behind." Instantly, social media erupted. Theories flew in every direction. Did he survive? Was this a warning? Or had he finally outmaneuvered the system trying to silence him? The entire internet was left reeling as the Blueface saga entered a level of mystery and danger no one could have predicted. Questions about Blueface's fate swirled like wildfire. Was he alive? Had he staged his own death? Or was this some calculated underground resistance move? Then, as suddenly as it appeared, the account posting his cryptic message vanished, deleted within 2 minutes. Gone without a trace. Fans scrambled to repost the story, but many attempts were met with copyright strikes or content violations, as if someone was actively preventing that message from spreading. The mystery deepened. One fan managed to save the clip and examined it frame by frame. They claimed the text contained hidden GPS coordinates. Plugged into Google Maps, the location pointed to a private warehouse on the outskirts of Los Angeles, not far from an abandoned recording studio Blueface had used years ago. Coincidence? Or a deliberate breadcrumb he left behind? While skeptics called it conspiracy theory, others believe it was Blueface's final attempt to warn the world. The gang he was forced into, they argued, wasn't just controlling prison cells, they were manipulating artists, media, and even record labels from the shadows. And now, with Blueface having seen too much, the question remained, had they silenced him, or had he found a way to fight back? The most surreal twist came hours after the rumored death. An AI voice generator site reportedly received a flagged request at 4:18 a.m., around the same time the death rumors went viral. The script used Blueface's vocal profile, saying, "Y'all think I'm gone? But what if I told you this is the only way I can speak freely? This isn't the end. This is the war, bro." Was this the most brilliant underground message ever orchestrated, or a sign that someone outside the system was using Blueface's voice to strike back against the powers that had ensnared him? The mystery lit a firestorm online as fans demanded clarity. Hashtags like #WhereIsBlueface, #BLFaceDidNotFold, and #Expose5K began trending across every platform, with each tag carrying thousands of posts, theories, and viral videos dissecting every clip, screenshot, and post linked to the saga. The internet had transformed into a hive of digital detectives, with users piecing together fragments of information that suggested the story went far beyond a simple prison incident. Celebrities and influencers quickly jumped into the conversation, adding fuel to the fire. Why posted a cryptic message on social media? They playing dirty. Real ones stay strong. Followers debated the meaning for hours. Was this a warning, a signal of allegiance, or a coded clue about who in the industry was involved? Cash Doll weighed in as well, tweeting, "I don't trust anything they say anymore. Not after that list." Her words hinted at insider knowledge, sparking speculation that the leaked 5K roster, detailing which artists were flipped in discussion or considered high-value targets, was only the tip of the iceberg. Soulja Boy took it even further during a live stream. His tone was urgent, almost panicked. "They got Blueface locked in some dungeon somewhere. This industry ain't real." His claim implied a chilling reality, that high-profile artists could be manipulated, silenced, or worse, all while the public remained unaware. Fans shared clips of Soulja Boy's livestream across TikTok and Instagram, each replay intensifying the sense of unease. Many began cross-referencing his statements with the leaked footage, AI voice message, and fan-saved documents to try and trace Blueface's location or determine if the story of his disappearance was, in fact, a carefully planned signal. Online forums, Reddit threads, and TikTok comment sections became digital war rooms. Theories ran the gamut from Blueface faking his death to infiltrate the system, to being under extreme duress, coerced into silence, or even being used as a pawn in a broader, industry-wide conspiracy. Each post and comment added layers to the narrative. Fans shared screenshots of old Instagram lives, archival interviews, and subtle hand gestures or lyrics that suddenly appeared to carry hidden meaning. They scrutinized everything, from security footage leaks to cryptic captions, building a picture of a system manipulating its stars while hiding in plain sight. The conversation was no longer just about Blueface, it became about the industry itself. Fans questioned how deep the corruption ran, which executives were complicit, and whether other artists were being exploited similarly. Social media had become both a platform for investigation and a megaphone for outrage. Every cryptic post, every tweet, every live stream contributed to the growing sense that the Blueface saga was not just a viral story, but a reckoning, a moment forcing the public to confront the hidden forces shaping the music industry, prison system, and the lives of the artists trapped within. By the end of the week, the digital storm showed no signs of slowing. #WhereIsBlueface was still trending internationally, and every new leak or insider account sent shockwaves across fan communities. What started as a mysterious disappearance had transformed into a global discussion about power, control, and survival. And in the center of it all, the question remained, was Blueface orchestrating his own resistance from behind the scenes, or had someone outside taken up his voice to challenge a system that had already shown it would go to any length to maintain control? The uncertainty only made the story more compelling, keeping fans, celebrities, and insiders alike glued to every unfolding detail. The streets, the internet, and the music world were ablaze. Everyone was asking the same thing: what had really happened to Blueface, and how deep did this hidden network of control really go? The saga had gone from a scandal to a full-blown war, with the lines between reality, manipulation, and rebellion blurring more with each revelation. Fans are mobilizing. Next Friday, a protest is planned outside the correctional facility, complete with posters, custom t-shirts, and murals. One sign reads, "Blueface sacrificed himself to show us what they are doing. Do not let them erase him." And honestly, this feels less like an ending and more like the opening of something much bigger. If Blueface truly staged a fake overdose, faked his death, left hidden clues, and vanished into silence, all to expose the system and protect his son, then what we are witnessing is not a tragedy. It is a revolution. From the leaked overdose footage, the forced gang ties, the whispers of industry-wide corruption, to that cryptic farewell message, the story reveals a deep, systemic exploitation of artists. Fame, trauma, and silence are currency for those running the industry, and when artists are no longer useful, they are discarded. Now it is on us. If you believe Blueface is alive, if you think the gang network stretches far beyond prison walls, if you suspect someone is trying to erase his voice from history, you cannot scroll past. Engage. Comment below. Ask yourself, is Blueface still out there? Is the industry being secretly controlled from the inside, or is this an elaborate distraction? Like the video if you demand justice, and let the algorithm know we refuse to remain silent. Subscribe and activate notifications. This story is far from over. Insiders are reaching out. Documents are being decrypted. There may even be a follow-up voice message from Blueface himself, ready to shatter the internet. When it drops, you will hear it here first. Until then, protect your energy, mind your circle, and remember, Blueface did not fold. He did it for him.